My mother passed away from cancer when I was still a teenager. It was a tremendous grief for both my father and me. Nevertheless, after some time, my father remarried. I had a rather strained relationship with my stepmother, but for the sake of my father's happiness, I made it look like we were getting along with her. When my mom was alive, she gave me a German Shepherd puppy named Ruby. I adored this dog and spent a lot of time with her. Sometimes Ruby and I would take walks in the woods. Those forest strolls allowed me to escape my sorrowful thoughts for a while and gave me a feeling of inner peace and tranquility. However, there was an incident that made me give up going into the forest. On that day, it was a typical autumn weather. I was slowly walking along the forest paths with Ruby. The forest was very quiet, and only the sound of the wind disturbed the silence. I unhooked Ruby's leash from her collar and threw her small ball. The dog happily dashed forward, bringing back the ball, holding it in her mouth each time. Carried away by our walk, Ruby and I went deeper into the woods. Suddenly, I heard a strange and horrifying howl, as if a wild wounded beast was screaming. Ruby rushed in that direction, barking loudly, ignoring my repeated commands to come back to me. Soon, she completely disappeared into the dense forest. Annoyed, I followed my dog. Twilight has already set in the forest, and I wanted to return home before it got completely dark. I wandered through the forest, calling out for Ruby, but she was nowhere to be found. I began to worry about her. After stopping for a few seconds to catch my breath from the fast pace, I heard a loud and fierce growl not far from me. I looked around, but I couldn't see the animal that was growling at me. It was probably hiding in the undergrowth. I knew it wasn't Ruby, and my heart started pounding with anxiety and fear. It could have been a wolf or a feral dog, I didn't know. But I was afraid to move, realizing that the wild beast might be preparing to attack me. Thoughts raced through my mind at breakneck speed on how to get out of the wild animal's sight, but suddenly, I heard Ruby's loud barking right next to me. Finally, she found me. Ruby positioned herself between me and the thicket where the beast hid, barking and growling in response. She was trying to protect me from the wild creature. The beast's roar didn't stop, but it didn't expect Ruby to be there, right by my side. Realizing that I had a few minutes to escape while Ruby distracted the beast, I ran. I ran through the undergrowth of the forest, stumbling with my feet and clinging to thick grass. I was afraid to look back, but I could distinctly hear someone or something running after me. Finally, when I reached the roadway, I breathed a sigh of relief and looked back. It was Ruby, trying to catch up with me, and I calmed down, but soon, I noticed that the dog hip was covered in blood, and Ruby was injured. As quickly as I could, I made my way home. My stepmother greeted me with her usual disapproving look, but I didn't care. I examined Ruby's wound and treated it with antiseptic. Luckily, the wound wasn't deep, and I thought I could handle Ruby's treatment without a vet's help. A few days later, all townspeople were shocked by the news of a guy found dead in the woods, apparently attacked by some wild animal. I had no doubt that it was the same creature that had been hiding in the forest thicket. I could have been its prey too, but Ruby saved my life.